Hey everybody, welcome to Cult Fiction. We're doing a What You Up To episode this week. So we're going to talk about what each of us individually has been watching and or reading or doing or whatever. Hopefully there's no overlap. This way we can actually talk about more shows than if we all talk about the same show or the same movie or the same book or whatever. And we're going to get straight into it because we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. So let's go to Bueller.
I'll just start with like what I'm doing like currently at the moment. The book that I'm in right now is Dean Koontz. It's an older book, and it's called False Memory.
Hmm.
Long. It's a long book, man. I've been jumping into the audiobooks so I can listen on my way to and from work. And this one's a long one. It's good. It's older. Like I said, I like older Koontz a lot. What's cool about this one and not cool about it is he goes way overboard on the descriptors, but it's also kind of necessary to grasp what's happening in the book. Basically, one of the main characters is having this slow descent into madness,
Hmm.
into a very specific phobia. And I think to really kind of understand what her character is going through, he wanted to make sure he had as many descriptors as possible, which it sometimes kind of feels like it's droning on. But at the same time, it's good because it kind of makes you feel like you're going crazy with it,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. Like
How
it's
far are you? Are you like more than half done?
no, I'm about a third of the way through it,
Hmm.
and I still have like 16 hours left. Yeah, it's a long one, dude. But yeah, he's done such a good job describing this phobia, which is basically the fear of yourself. I forget what it's called, but it's the fear of yourself. He's done such a good job with it to where it's like,
Autophobia.
yeah, autophobia, and it's just it's maddening, dude, and it's in good ways and bad ways. They just had a really big reveal in the book. It's an older book, like I said, but I'm not trying to give anything away. They had a big reveal that I kind of feel like if you were paying attention, you kind of saw coming, maybe not. Uh, but I'm excited to get back to it. My free time is out on my Spotify, so I have to wait like another week to get my audio back. But it's cool. I can take a little break from it. But so far, yeah, it's called False Memory by Dean Koontz. Dean Koontz is just somebody I grew up reading when I actually read a book, which is very few and far between. So I kind of fall back into Koontz whenever I'm looking for something to read, and it's been enjoyable. If we got time, I got a few other books of his that I could get into as well. But for that sake, I'll jump into what I'm watching literally right now that I stopped to come and jump on the podcast is The Idea of You. It's Anne Hathaway's new movie.
Yeah,
It's
how is that?
uh, dude, it's a rom-com. It's Notting Hill, but in reverse,
All right.
uh, where Anne Hathaway falls in love with a famous guy. I didn't really know anything going into it except it was an Anne Hathaway movie, and my girlfriend wanted to watch it, so I was like, "Yeah, I'm down. Let's check it out." And we're just about halfway through it, and like we've had some laughs. It's super tropey, and it deals with the music industry very heavily because the famous person that she falls in love with, or that falls in love with her, is a boy band guy. And as you can tell, I was in the music industry for a very long time. So like some of the stuff they're doing in it, I'm like, not
All right.
really. I mean, even Caitlin's been to enough shows with me to where she's even been like, that's not how that works. I'm like, no, it's not how it works at all. But whatever, it's a movie. Just let it go and enjoy it. I think she had to tell me that. Let it go and enjoy it. Because it's really hard when you really know about something, and a movie comes along and just kind of dances over it like all the details. It's hard to get past that, but I'm trying to and just enjoy the flick. And Anne Hathaway's a fun actress to watch. I don't think that I've ever seen her in anything that I didn't like. And this one's just it's good for laughs, man. I think I already figured out exactly how it's going to end. I think I've also like called everything that's happened so far in the movie to the annoyance of my girlfriend. But
Mm.
yeah, it's called The Idea of You. It's on Prime. It's got Anne Hathaway. Like I said, it's funny. We got some laughs out of it, and that's literally what I'm watching at this moment. Taking a break for this podcast, and of course, X-Men '97. We have one episode left next week. This last one was part two of a three-part series or three-part episode, and all I can say about it without any spoilers is fuck them kids. I'm Team Magneto all the way.
Well, we'll talk about that next time.
That's fine. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
We're going to talk about the whole season. So I've got a couple shows to talk about. I'm going to do one, and then we'll go around and we can come back. I have been watching two Hulu shows. I just finished both of them. The first one is Das Boot. It's a remake of an old German story about a U-boat in World War II. The original movie, I think it was like '79.
What's the
Was
remake?
it's the movie. The original movie is called Are you
I'm just fucking with
busting
you.
my balls right now?
Yeah.
Right in the middle of my jam, dude. You're busting my balls. I'm trying to talk to the people. All right. So Das Boot, the original Das Boot, for those of you who've seen it, was
was in
excellent.
Beer Fest, right?
No, it wasn't. What?
Beer Fest. When they drink out of Das Boot, right?
No, that's not what it was.
Man,
No,
Man.
it was about a U-boat. It was a very serious movie, you guys. It was
They
very
won
serious.
awards.
It won awards, and it was also dramatic, and kind of a true story, right? Because World War II was rough. Anyway, so the remake is a series, so it's 8 episodes instead of just a movie, which was like, it was a long movie, it was like 3 hours. But they added a wrinkle, so it's like half on the U-boat and then half on land with like a spy thing going on. I enjoyed it. It's German, so it's subtitled, and it's very German in its plot, so it's not the happiest series you're ever gonna watch. But it was very well done. Alex, what do you got?
So I went
Did you
back.
say- Lots of slapstick comedy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a slapstick comedy, no.
Yeah.
But the
All
Germans
sorts
are
of
known for it.
shenanigans on the German U-boat.
You guys are
Yeah.
I
You're
went
stepping
back
on my
and
lines.
it's my turn, guys. I was watching. There's a series on Apple that debuted about in 2019 or so, I think, called Servant. And I watched the first season when it came out, and I was like, okay, I want to wait until it's done, and then I'm gonna watch it all because it's like produced and the showrunner is M. Night Shyamalan, so it's like, um, without giving too much away, I mean, I don't want because there's a lot that could be spoiled. Basically, what happens is the premise is there's this very wealthy couple in Philadelphia who hires a nanny, and then the nanny quickly finds out that there is no baby. It's actually like a doll that the wife uses because the child died.
Oh, I wanted to see this. This is on
That's
Apple.
creepy.
Right. And so,
Wow.
so yeah, she's being a nanny to like a doll because the mother can't accept that the child is dead. So yeah, and that's just the premise, right?
Yeah.
It gets like, especially in the first season, it gets pretty like nuts. But the first season was really, really captivating because it was very subtle and kind of eerie and spooky, And so I was really curious to see what happened. And the first 2 seasons are all written by the same guy. Like he writes every single episode. And then he just stopped writing them for some reason. And the show turned shit. Like it's just like, I mean, and it's like, because what happened was, in the 3rd season, like M. Night Shyamalan started having his daughter write and direct episodes, and she's like 20 years old or something. And it's just kind of like, she might be great, but I mean, she's been doing this for like, a few years. She's not going to be as good as somebody who's been doing in the business for, a couple of decades and been putting
Now
out.
the adult the patriarchy and shit,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. And because it's one of those things, like I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it because it is like a very twisty show that you're
What's
not
it
going to
called?
predict.
What's it called again? What's it called again?
Servant.
Servant.
And it's on Apple. So on Apple.
Yeah, I wanted to see it, except it's on Apple. It's like, and I don't have Apple.
I don't have Apple either. I need to get it.
But you can get like a free trial for like a week.
Yeah,
just
there's a bunch of
can we
shows
just
I
go
got
back to
stacked up on
fucking
Apple.
cable at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
No
But
doubt.
actually, I got Apple because I'm looking at some of the shows on there, and there's a lot of shows that look really good.
There are.
Dude,
Sci-fi.
Ted fucking Lasso.
Oh yeah,
Ted Lasso is on Apple. Yeah, I've heard
about
that's
it.
super good.
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
It's amazing.
but you can also watch Ted Lasso on TikTok in 60-second increments if you want.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Is it still good?
So what are you working on, Eric? What do you got?
Well, me and the family watch Abbott Elementary. We watch Ghosts. We love those. A new one my wife and I are watching is a show called Elsbeth. Right?
Elsbeth.
And,
that sounds familiar. Oh, that's the one. That's the same people who did The Good Wife, right?
Yeah, so she's a character from The Good
Right.
Wife.
Right,
think.
right. Yeah.
And that's interesting. It kind of it does like the old Columbo thing where every episode starts with you watching the murderer do the murder, right? So you know who does it, and you know how they did it, and so that's not really the crux of the story. The crux is like, how is she gonna figure it out and stuff like that.
Interesting.
So that is interesting. It's definitely different. I think they already have been renewed for a second season. One of the things I would like to see them do if they continue to go on is to not let that format go stale. I think it would be cool if somebody gets away with it. You know, like you saw how it works, and I mean, you can have her. She knows the person did it. She's got them dead to rights, but she just can't prove it, and that person could be like a recurring.
That'd be interesting if you had a recurring character that got away with murder. That would be fascinating.
Right. Like that could be a thorn in her side or whatever. But
Moriarty.
Right.
Yeah, like a Moriarty. But don't let that kind of. You have kind of a cool, like I said, you bringing back that Columbo type aspect. Don't let it go stale. Like, use it. Don't let her just kind of figure it. Because even it's already like, I think like 9 episodes in, and the last episode or 2, she made a connection, and I was like, that's flimsy as fuck. That was flimsy as fuck.
Yeah, I hate that, dude.
She knows he killed him because of that. Fuck. Okay. I like the character. The people in it are fun. I'll look past it. Whatever. But yeah, don't.
So not
too much.
Not the most incredible
show,
but but still fun. Good, because I've been planning on watching that one. Actually, I've been wanting to see it.
No, it's fun, but not too much more of that, please.
Right, right.
It's called Helsbeth.
Elsbeth.
Elsbeth.
ELS. Yeah. Gus, what do you got?
All right. So I think after this segment, all the goth girls are gonna DM me. So
Let's hope.
I hope so. Anyway, so
are there still goth girls? Is that still a thing?
That's still a thing. It's still a thing.
Yeah. So can you imagine taking me to a goth party with my loud ass shirt, looking like I'm from what's that one? Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Yeah.
Looking like a character from Grand Theft Auto Vice City, taking me to a goth party. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So I watched this flick it's a series on Netflix. It's called How to Be a Tyrant. And it's 8 episodes. They're super short. They're like 30-minute episodes. Side note, I'll watch anything on dictators, serial killers, last meals, or eating habits of psychopaths. Period. I'll watch it.
Or the apocalypse.
And the apocalypse too.
The apocalypse too.
Those are my jams. So this was really, really good. Like, they'll take all these like assorted dictators, right? And it's like a whole guidebook at basically how to be a dictator. And it has the usual suspects, plus ones that don't get enough notoriety, if you will, like Idi Amin, right? Idi Amin killed like 300,000 people, right? He was a cannibal.
Right.
Like, he
Nobody's
had
heard
weird
of him.
habits. He thought oranges were like Viagra. He ate 25 oranges a day, right? So super bizarre shit. But so it goes through all of these different dictators, the usual suspects, plus people that you don't know about, and things that they do, and it'll show the similarities, right? From like population manipulation to like scapegoating to like starting wars and all this shit. Super cool. Really, really good. It's narrated by Tyrion from Game of Thrones. I know he has a real name.
Peter Dinklage.
Whatever. Yeah. Pretty good.
I know he has a real name. Probably.
He definitely has a real name and a soul.
Yeah.
Whatever, man.
That's awesome.
Not a real name. Dog's name. Dog's name.
Dog's name. What was her name? Jordan
Jensen.
Man, she's hilarious. I don't know if you guys have seen any clips from Jordan Jensen, but you should check her out. She is funny as hell. You got something
Does
else, Bueller?
she
You
got
something?
Tourette's?
She got what?
Does she have Tourette's?
No, she's a stand-up
Oh.
comedian. She's funny.
I put something in the
What else do I
Does
got?
he have Tourette's? That's one of Gus's prerequisites.
Makes you a better comedian.
Gus is like, is she goth? And does she have Tourette's? I'm in.
That's awesome. You got another one, Bueller?
Yeah, I got a few more. That I said what I was like actually actively doing, but what led me to this point for books was Kuntz's latest book called The Bad Weather Friend came out fairly recently. Quick read, but it's really weird. It seems like a big departure from Kuntz, in my opinion. He does some things in the book that he's never done before in books, including having, this isn't really a spoiler, having one of the characters who's not the main character narrate part of it. But he's not the main character, and he narrates part of it as the author, but he also makes it clear that he's not the author. It's super weird, dude. But it was a quick read, and it was very strange. It didn't feel like Kuntz. It wrapped up like way too happy for a Kuntz book, in my opinion. And I don't know. It was just kind of like, I actually gave it a review, which I don't do, but I got prompted to give it a review when I was done reading it. It wasn't an audiobook, it was an ebook. And Goodreads wanted me to review it when I was done, and I gave it 1 star because I was like, this didn't feel like Kuntz. It felt very silly, and I don't know. It was way out of left field. But I say that because the next book I got from Kuntz, which is an older one, and I don't know if Alex is going to agree with me or disagree with me on this one, is The Taking. And that was the first book I jumped into when I got Spotify Premium. And my God, this is, in my opinion, Kuntz at his best. This book was white knuckle from the get-go. And it's crazy how it takes place over the course of like 24 hours. And it's nonstop. Like, what the fuck is going on? It's insane. I felt myself holding the steering wheel tighter at points when I was driving to work, listening to this book. And I know Alex has read it. I don't know how you feel about it, man, but damn, it was a damn good book. And it wrapped up like, it didn't have a super happy ending. It didn't have a terrible ending at all. It had an ending that kind of felt true to the story, and it was great.
The Taking
I
is what it's called.
remember I read that one really quick, like 2 days or something. I read that whole book.
Yeah.
It's just like, because even Kuntz, even when he writes books that like aren't good, I can't put them down. Like he's like,
Right.
page turner is what he makes, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, I will, you know, so I had to be kind of choosy, because if I buy one of his books, I'll read the whole thing, even if I don't particularly like it, because
Right.
he's just so good at getting me to the page. So I'm like, okay, I want to spend my time reading good books now, though. So I'm kind of
Well, The
choosy
Taking was
about
good
it
for me,
now.
man. I really enjoyed that one thoroughly, and that's what kind of made me jump into this next one by Kuntz that I'm reading right now, False Memory. But yeah, also a couple movies that I haven't talked about on the podcast that I've seen since we did one of these Whatchu Watchin things. I went and saw Abigail with my daughter in theaters opening weekend, and it was fun. It was a vampire movie. I saw, like Alex said, they gave away everything in the trailer, dude.
Right.
Like,
I was concerned about that.
I was hoping for a surprise, but I think it's because Angus Cloud, one of their big draws, like died during filming. So I'm wondering, because he was in Euphoria. I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but my daughter knew who he was, and he died during filming. So I'm wondering if they had to make some adjustments because of that. Because I'm watching the movie going, they really could have cut the trailer different and kind of hid the fact that Abigail was the vampire killer and kept you guessing. But I think they really just wanted people in seats, so make it a vampire movie and get people in the theaters type thing, because one of their stars was dead. But they still made it fun. Like, I enjoyed it. It was like, it wasn't like a edge of my seat, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Like, I was laughing at the movie, but in a good way. It was enjoyable. I saw a review. They kind of pissed me off. It was like this John Hughes classic being remade with a twist, and had a picture of Abigail. And I was like, John Hughes made a vampire movie? What is this?
Yeah, that's news to me.
So I read it, and they compared Abigail to The Breakfast Club, which was really fucking dumb. Yeah, dude, seriously. If I had to draw any comparisons, and I was saying this before you and Eric, Jubal and Eric jumped on, is I would compare it to The Usual Suspects, not because it's at that caliber of movie, because it's not. That's not what I'm saying at all. But if you do see Abigail, you'll realize where I'm pulling this from in a way where if they're going to compare it to The Breakfast Club, they would have made more sense comparing it to The Usual Suspects without giving too much away. But don't go in there thinking it's The Usual Suspects, because it's absolutely
I'll check it out though. If
Hey,
you say it's fun, I'll check it out.
real quick, did we cock block Gus? Was Gus not done fucking telling us what they were doing with all the fucking dictators on the show?
Do we cock block you guys?
Halfway, but it's cool. Like, I got the point across. It's all good. Like, there was one last thing. Now, there was one last thing I was going to drop on it, which was like my critique of it, because I actually really enjoyed the show. But like, my critique of it was, thank you, Eric. My critique was that the way it was written, whatever political side someone found themselves on, they would think that the opposite side were a tyrannical dictator. Like, even like in the United States. And I watched it and I'm like, you know what? I could talk to X, Y, and Z that I know. We could sit down, we could watch this. I could not say a thing. And they would give me this whole like list of how they're, you know, whatever. The person that they hate politically is a dictator, right?
Right. Sure.
The reverse too. I could sit down with A, B, and C, right? And we could sit down, we could watch it, and then they would give me the whole thing too. So I wish that there were a little bit more of like, I don't know, like there was a slant, right? It was designed to do that, which I don't like. Like, I don't like if you're making a documentary, cool. Don't try to guide me into what you want. Give me the facts, baby. Give me the facts. I'm a grown-ass man. I'll figure it out.
Right.
Like,
Part of a documentary should be you make up your mind
right
on what's true. Right.
Yeah, because I watch a ton of documentaries. I like them, right? Because I read slow and I don't really like conventional television, so I could get a lot of bang for my buck in an hour and a half. And like, I don't like it when like, don't guide me. And especially too, like if you're a good filmmaker or a good writer or whatever, you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to guide me, especially with a documentary. Drop the facts, bro.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't have to like corral you into thinking that Pol Pot was a bad dude.
No, it's not that. No, what I'm trying to say is that like they would drop like breadcrumbs with every dictator so that I would think that like whatever my political opposition was, whoever was on the opposite side of my political aisle was Pol Pot, right?
Oh, right.
And it really, like my biggest problem with it, like why I probably, like I almost didn't even talk about it because I don't know if I would recommend it. Like I really enjoyed parts of it, but that was where it was like, why? What? Because obviously there's no one in America who is a Pol Potist, right? No one in America who's a Maoist, right? Right? There's no Idi Amin's in America, right? Well, you know, but like,
It's a big country.
Yeah, it's a big country, right? And I talk to a lot of crazy fuckers. So anyway, but like, but no, that was like my one criticism of the flick, like where I'm like, why are you breadcrumbing this shit to sow division or like stuff? That's my only thing. But other than that, it was a good flick.
Fair enough.
Right.
Fair enough.
I just got one more.
Go ahead.
Hey,
I also checked out Monkey Man.
Oh, you did? You watched it?
I did watch Monkey Man.
We should do like an episode on that though, because I do want to see that.
I mean, we can hold off if you want.
I mean, give us an overview. Just tell us if you liked it or not.
So yeah, no, I liked it. Should I have waited until it was free? Yeah.
Oh yeah, all right.
But I just really wanted to see something new that weekend, and I had that on the top of my mind, and I spent money on it, and I can completely understand why it was made for Netflix, and Netflix wanted to release it 2 years ago. I don't understand why Jordan Peele felt the need to buy it and release it himself in theaters. That I don't get, because what's cool about it is that it's an Indian revenge flick, but it's still a revenge flick, no matter how you boil it down. You know what I mean?
Sure. Sure.
And I think all 5 of us like revenge flicks. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, and the cool thing about it, and I don't think I'm giving away too much by saying this, is it's not the revenge flick like John Wick or Mr. Nobody or Taken or something like that, where they already have the skills. It's more of a revenge flick, like, and I can't for the life of me think of the name, where like your hero or your anti-hero goes to get revenge, but fucking sucks at it and gets his ass kicked, and then has to like really train to go back and get the revenge that he needs.
Karate Kid.
Karate Kid's a good one. I was thinking there's one where like Kevin Bacon goes to a gas station with his son, and his son gets shot.
Oh, yeah.
And I forget the name of that one. There's one with Bruce Willis too, where like something similar happens, where he goes out looking for somebody who wronged his family, and he can't get it all done in one shot, so he has to go back another time with heavy artillery. And that's the revenge flick that Monkey Man is, but it has the added bonus of it being an Indian revenge flick, so you're seeing aspects of Indian culture that you wouldn't see in any other American revenge flick that you watch. So that made it super cool.
Oh yeah, I want to check it out. The visuals look really interesting. What do you got, Eric?
What else do we got? What else am I watching? Watching the final season of SWAT. Well, we thought it was the final season. They freaking wrote off like half the team, and then CBS was like, you know what, we'll give you another season. They literally wrote off half the team, and then CBS gave them another season. I'm like, what are you gonna do now? What do you like? Just gonna? Okay, sounds good. I guess we're just going a bunch of noobs for the last season. Seems weird. Sorry, dogs are doing something. Let's see. So, watching the Connors, that's a little rough because it's mainly around Darlene. If you guys ever remember the old Roseanne show, Darlene is fucking so negative. It's just a drag, dude.
Right.
Like,
isn't she the one who led the charge in getting Roseanne kicked off the show, and now it's about Darlene?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. If it was around Dan, it'd be so much better because, like, Dan was always the best character on that show anyway, you know? But it's around Darlene. What's that?
He the brother?
No, that was the John Goodman was the dad.
John
right?
Goodman. Yeah, yeah. So if it was around Dan, it would have been fine because he's great. But Darlene is just such a negative. Oh gosh, she's just fucking dreary. Like half the time,
she's Daria. She's like a real life Daria.
Like, oh, me and my son are watching. Sometimes we're just like, Jesus Christ, woman. Like, how does anybody find you attractive? Like, she has a husband. She has a husband. I'm like, who would want to be around you? Never mind, like, have sex with you.
It might be time to find a new show.
Maybe that dude is atoning for his sins and shit.
Maybe don't watch that shit.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you know how you know it when like Abbott Elementary comes on and Ghost comes on, and like you watch it like the next day, because we never watch shit live really. We watch it the next day. Oh, Bob Hart's Abashola, which is ending or has just ended. You watch it like the next day. But we have like 5 episodes of the Connors to roll through.
Sounds like you don't need that show anymore. Get rid of it.
Yeah, you're like, hate watching it at this point.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, dude, I still have the last like 7 episodes of The Flash to get through. That show ended like
that's like a job.
It
sounds like it's like
a job.
Work.
It's like a job. It's like I fucking watched every episode of that fucking show, so now I have to finish it, right? And that's how I'm looking at it. I'm like clocking in at this point. To finish The Flash, I'm clocking in because it got so bad at the end that I'm just like, okay, here I go. I'm gonna put in my time.
That's
put in an hour.
I can't do that, man. I'll turn a show off. I'll turn a movie off. Like, If I'm not into it, I'm done.
I ended up doing it with a couple other CW shows where I just was like, no, I can't do it anymore. This show is just so bad. I just can't watch it. And then a couple of them I just didn't even start. Gotham Knights didn't even start it. Batgirl. I mean, their preview told me, they said their preview might as well have said, I don't want you to watch this show. Like it might as well have said, don't watch this show.
This show is not for Eric.
This show is not for you. Don't watch it. And I was like, okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you for telling me I'm not going to watch it. That's fine. And because I'm not one of those people that thinks like everything has to be for me. Like, I understand that there's other people in the world. What I don't like, though, is that when you say, hey, this show's not for you, don't watch it. And then I don't. And then you come and you go, oh, why don't you watch it? We have low ratings. Fuck. Why are you watching this show we told you not to watch? Fucker. Hate women. And it's like,
there should be a gift. That right there.
You told me not to watch this fucking show. You said this show was not for me. So I said, I agreed. I said, you're right. I'm not going to watch this show. That's not for me. And then you said, we lost 46% of our fucking audience after the first episode. Why aren't you watching this show? Because you said it wasn't for me. Dude, that fucking trailer killed me, dude. I still laugh every time, like how it got through an editor. I don't know if I ever told you this story, but like I'm watching the trailer, and there's just
this is for Batgirl.
For Batgirl,
yeah.
I think I talked about it where she's just like she goes out for her first time in the trailer. She goes out and she beats up somebody for the first time, and the next day the guy who's helping her is just like looks at the paper and is like, oh, they're saying Batman's back, and she's like, I'll be damned if some man takes the credit for what I've done. And I'm like, oh, and I'm sure like feminists around the world are clapping and stuff. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. You're using Dave, his equipment, his costume, his mythos,
his car,
his fucking
his computer,
everything, his computers, like you're everything, and you're just like, oh, he better not get credit. And it's just like, I wonder why people would think it was his. I don't know. It's so weird. It's so weird. I know he only like spent like 20 years like cultivating all these things, and you put it on for a night and punched a couple of guys in the face, and then they were like, hey, it might be Batman. And they're like, I can't believe it. I think it's Batman. That's the patriarchy. It's like who like that got past editors. And they were like, this is a good point she's making. And I said, you know what? That's a good point if I was a 14 to 24-year-old girl, right? So that's not for me. I agree. I'm not going to watch the show.
There you go.
So,
and you shouldn't. And you shouldn't watch
it.
And
I should.
Alex, what do you got?
So I've been going back and finishing up an episode, show that I actually introduced Joe to called Loudermilk on Netflix.
Yeah,
which is a hilariously funny show. Ron Livingston, the guy from Office Space, and you basically pretend like the guy from Office Space 20 years later became an alcoholic, and then he became a recovering alcoholic, and he runs a AA group, and all the shenanigans that ensue with him running an AA group. Wow. And he's just like, it's funny because he's, surly and grumpy, but 100% honest. Like he says things that he believes are true, and sometimes he's right, sometimes he's wrong, but he gets called on it. But the humor comes from like a real place. So there's other great people on it. It's got Will Sasso is in it. He plays with Beth Fan and his roommate. He's super funny. There's a comedian, I think his name is Brian Regan. He's
Brian Regan.
So under Brian Regan.
Yeah.
He's in this show. He him and Will Sasso actually kind of play characters that are different from what you're used to seeing him in. Will Sasso's not his mad TV self. He's more of a straight man. And then Brian Regan, like I remember his clean comedy. He's not clean in this show at all. But Alex is right. Like the character he's an insufferable asshole, but he's right sometimes. And then sometimes he goes out of his way to be an insufferable asshole. And you're like, oh, you're a dick.
But he's honest. You know, he's
Yeah.
100% honest. You know? And that's one of the reasons that the show is kind of endearing to me. And it's like, it's only got 3 seasons, I think, on Netflix. There's like 10 episodes for each season. They're all like, 28, 30 minutes a pop. So it's really, really easy to watch a few and get through a whole season in a few days. And so that's what I recommend for everybody if you want to sit down and watch something politically incorrect and funny. And I'm also got to give a big shout out to something that I'm trying to get Jubal to watch. He won't do it. It's because he wants his wife has to watch something scary. So I brought this movie called Infested. It's great. It's arachnophobia, but without the comedy.
Yeah, spiders.
That's all it is. You
Spiders
take
are my enemy.
and you take out all the laughter, and you have this movie Infested. And it's man, if you want to sit down and be creeped out and like jump out of your seat, it's on show. Infested. If you don't like
Spiders are fucked up, dude. They're just a wrong animal. They are a wrong animal. They have too many legs and eyes, and they're from another planet. They're not normal animals.
Whenever I'm working and I see one, I go out of my way to smash it. Stitch in time. Daddy Long Legs, Black Widow, Meat Maker.
I just project anti-spider aura. Like I don't want them in my life. I don't like spiders.
I catch them and release them outside.
Oh, man,
that's nice, Joe.
Yeah, that's weird. Whatever.
Weird.
So okay, let me close it out. I got one left.
I got one.
You got one more? Go, Gus.
Yeah, but go ahead. No,
you go, and I'll finish.
You guys get to vote. You want the last book I read or the thing I learned how to do?
I want the thing you learned how to do.
How about everybody else?
What do you guys think?
Well, I already know
what you learned how to do. If you learned how to helicopter, you learned how to helicopter, bro. I want to see this.
Learned how to rusty trombone.
No. Right, so I took
Alabama Hot Pocket.
There you go.
I don't even know
origami.
No, I do a good crane. So like
Shadow puppet.
No. This is real shit, dude. It's cool. Shadow puppets are cool too, man. You can get a book on them. So anyway,
Queen.
You get one more, dude.
You guys are freaking me out.
So anyway, I took these 2 different classes. They were printing classes. So one was like a linoleum printing class. It was super old school, right? You carve out, you get a piece of linoleum, you carve out the relief, and then you press it out. And then the other class was screen printing class, also super, super old. I think screen printing is like 1,000 years old or something, right?
My stepdad still does that for a living.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I took these 2 classes and it was really, all right. So you guys there? Cool.
Yeah,
so it was super cool. And so the first class was so I went, I saw a billboard and it was like free class, blah, blah, blah. I called, signed up, super rad. I was like by far like the oldest person in the room. Like everyone is super young, which is good. And you got to be around young people so you stay fresh. So
at the end, did they try to sell you a timeshare?
That's right.
No, not at all, man. Like, I got props for being a cool old guy.
There you go.
You're an MLM for screen printing.
There you go.
What's that? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Multi-level marketing pyramid scheme.
No.
At what point did I lose control of this episode? At some point, I just completely lost control of this episode.
So this was the first one that I did.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
That was pretty cool. I liked it. Like I would do it again. But then like 2 weeks ago, maybe, I made these babies. And that's a screen printing one.
There you go.
I want to. Can I put that on my fridge?
What's
Dude, it
that?
looks like a shirt.
It looks like your shirt, bro.
Yeah, no, it's like I drew like tropical designs and shit, and then I went and I wasn't really feeling the single color, so like somehow I think because I had taken both of her classes, she was like, "You can do whatever you want to do; it doesn't matter." And I was like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah." So it was cool. So learning something new is totally rad, and I think that like because as we get older, I don't know. But I think that I try to learn new stuff all the time. But as we get older, like we start to get comfortable in
Complacent.
comfortable in our places. And so it's super cool because the first one that I had taken, the relief one, the one that I showed, I had tried to think of like when I learned to do something new. And it was like 6 or 8 months ago. And I was like, or 6 or 8 months from, or maybe even 12 months ago from that. And I was like, damn, dude, like you should try to be learning new stuff all the time. Like, and I'm sure that there's some scientist that'll tell me about some pocket in my brain that bigger that pocket gets pretty soon. I could hear Mandarin and then be like, and a Chinese restaurant be like, yeah, no shrimp. But anyway, so
Where are we?
You can join us next week, and Gus will show you how to whittle a corncob pipe.
That's
Oh,
right.
dude, I looked it up, man. I looked it up, bro. Harder than you think. The corncob pipe is dope. You could also make corncob knife handles. You can make a Bowie knife out of a lawnmower blade, and you could use a corncob as the handle.
That's pretty cool.
That's a machete.
That's pretty cool. I heard that you could make corncob holders.
I'm sure.
That-
Anyway,
That
Out of corncob.
that was funnier in my head. Are we done? Is this over? Are we done now?
Jubal.
This is the worst. This is worse than cancer. This episode is worse than cancer.
Yeah.
Well,
It's the worst thing we've ever done, guys.
the
Congratulations.
best thing would be is just make Eric's thing like a GIF. And it's called a GIF, right? Like make Eric's thing like a GIF, like chop it up just a little bit and make it an app so that you can
Yes.
drop people. Like you can drop that on people. Like when they're like, oh, Eric's like,
We'll know who the real fans of this show are by how many people actually sit through this whole episode.
it wasn't that bad.
And with that,
Yeah.
peace out,
Yeah,
everybody.
Code for like $300 or something. Like right here.
Mm,
Stop it.
yeah, right here. This
It's
is where
already
all the free
dead.
shit is, right here in this episode.
If you made
Brutal.
it here, fuckers.
You win. All right, join us next week, please, for the love of God. Peace out, everybody.